Welcome to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am your host, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support you have given us as an organization, and we can't say thank you enough. If you're able to, subscribe, follow, like, share, comment on our more than 155 episodes that we have put together with a wide variety of programming, content, guests for your education, information, to find out what's happening in the local Northeast Ohio area and how we also have an impact outside Northeast Ohio across the United States, and we are reaching 50 countries and 500 cities across the world. So we couldn't do that without you. Today we are doing part one of a two-part series with our guest in studio. She is a good friend of the organization, stays busy like a lot of us do, and always looking to make a positive impact and a positive difference. And she spends, say, all or most of her time doing that. So we thought it would be a good idea to have her come in and share and highlight her organization, the work that they do, and maybe you may have heard of them, and if you haven't, you can learn more. And we would appreciate checking her organization out. So in studio today, we have Brenda Justice. She works with the Akron Symphony Orchestra. I'll let her describe a little bit more in depth what that entails. But the big reason of having her on our show is to talk about the organization that she founded and is the president and chairperson of. We, as a society, we know nobody's perfect. We all have flaws, let's say skeletons in the closet. And with that being said, there are people who may need a little extra help from time to time. And Brenda's organization is one of those organizations that not only has information but provides education. She and her organization just wrapped up their annual black tie event this past Saturday, and it is just amazing that we have people in our community that can just put their head down and do task after task, and sometimes we don't see really the fruits of our labor. We don't take a step back enough, and this is one of those times for us to take a step back and really look at the growth of her organization. So Brenda is the founding president and chairperson of Power of a Dream, which is Sisters Helping Sisters Ministry. They are a 501c3. And what they do is they advocate against domestic violence. So Brenda, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So can you maybe talk a little bit just about the orchestra that you do kind of day in, day out, and then we'll transition into Power of a Dream?
I truly do, day in and day out. I have been with the Akron Symphony Orchestra for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
Since September 28th, 1998. I don't forget those days and that first day walking in. I am currently the coordinator of choral activities, which includes the Akron Symphony Chorus, and it also includes Gospel Meets Symphony. Gospel Meets Symphony, sort of like my little baby, I would like to say. We're celebrating our 31st year, and with that, just want to put a little. I bring it's a melting pot of almost 200 choral individuals coming together to share the good news the gospel, but we it's like a melting pot of all religions, all races, and everybody coming together. It's under the direction of Jonathan Turner. He has been with us about this going on his 4th year, I believe, but it's a wonderful thing to do. It's like a family now. And we sing, it brings 2 genres of music together. Classical and gospel. So now everybody's pretty much like a family now. And we have the other side of me, which is the classical side, because that's where I have my education in that area. So Akron Symphony Orchestra, we deal with all the classical works, Mozart and Brahms and so forth. We have a Verdi coming up. We're preparing for Mahler. And we're now doing a Holiday Pops concert we're going to have this Friday at 7:30 at Akron Symphony at the E.J. Thomas Hall. So I basically put everything together to make it happen. I work with the Chris Albanese, who is the choral director for the Akron Symphony Chorus, and I'm also on the artistic committee too. Have my input a little bit, a little knowledge in that area. But we put everything together to make it happen with the auditions, with the rehearsals, with the rehearsal space, with the everything, the performance, everything that makes it happen. I am in connection with that. So I'm the go-to person for both orchestras. So it's a little bit busy right now. Akron Symphony Chorus, we are up to 104 members, which we haven't had in over 20 years. So it's a wonderful thing. Ever since COVID, most of the churches do not have choirs anymore, but they have praise teams. But some people want to do the work still. And so we've been really blessed in that area. Gospel Symphony is on a roll as usual. And we're going to perform February 8th, and we do that every Saturday rehearsals. People come out and not even thinking about what they have to do, because this is part of their life every year. So that's what I do, and I do the et cetera as well. So that's what I do with the Akron Symphony.
So what got your interest in the Akron Symphony to begin with? For somebody who may be looking for a career, or just the music and the event side of things, how did that get
I have a background in classical music, so I have a degree in business organization communication, but I'm also have a degree in voice performance. So I was one of the ones who dealt with singing in operas and different things of that sort. So with a classical background, I thought I saw something in the paper, because I had been a mom for 5 years, and it was time to come back. And now that my kids could be a little bit on their own, but I wasn't too far. And so I applied for administrative, because I didn't want to be too stressed out. And then I know we get to coordinate, or they can, if you needed help with the chorus, that was fine. And then one thing led to another. And then I started seeing the need for Gospel Symphony, because they needed a key person. And I would get things for them, since it was a benefit concert. That's how it started off. And so I started helping them out. And as time went on, I only planned on being there 2 years, may I add. But because I love what I do, and I'm a people person as well. And sometimes you need somebody to be the go-between to let you follow those dreams that you have. There's a lot of people that perform. There's a lot of talent in Akron and all the surrounding area. We don't even know it, and they don't even know how can I be seen, and how can people get to know who I am, or, so sometimes it's me that has to be that connection. And, as long as you do right, you get right, okay? And so that's how I became associated with everything, because of my background and my desire already to be in classical music. I didn't know anything about gospel, because I have a Catholic background. But I learned. You learn, you watch, and listen. And that's how I became, 26 years later, became into the other position that it grew into.
And you mentioned, dreaming, and obviously your organization, Power of a Dream, has dream in it.
Yes.
Where did that come from? Is there a mentor early on, a teacher, family member that gave you the space to be able to dream, whatever that was, and maybe 20, 30 years ago, it might have been in one or two things, and maybe that has changed, or maybe it hasn't. But for those out there that, may think of, that they got to stay in this box and they got to do this one thing, that they can really still dream.
Well, at that time of my life, I was going through not the best position with my spouse, so it was bringing a lot of reality to me, and I found that I was taking a lot away from me. That my desires, my dreams, it was basically I was a mom, a mom, a stay-at-home, and I didn't have any desires for myself, and I had a lot of control going on at home, what I wanted, what was supposed to happen in my life, and so in order for me to make that happen, I had to do some deep soul searching. I had to think about, what do I really want? I don't want to waste another 5 or 6 years and not accomplish what I would like, my desires, my goal, or the gifts that God has given you. So I decided to go back to work, of course, but I also, it was very important for me to be in my children's lives. I have 2 sons, Willie and Nicholas. They're 31 and 32 now. But I made sure that I wasn't too far away from them. So I was down the street from the school. So they didn't have a PTO or PTO. They consider it PTO there, but some people consider it PTA. And me and 2 other mothers got together because we were always so involved in our children's lives and always going to school, making sure what was going on. And we started an organization called the PTO there. It was Hope Academy at that time. And I was able to go back and forth with that, little leverage. And I became the president, stayed the president for 6 years. So I had a lot of leverage about what different things I wanted to do. But when it came, the 2 ladies that I was with, we ended up seeing a lot of children that needed help. Some children coming to school dirty. Some children needed coats. Some children just didn't have food. Some children, just needed to be babes. It was so many situations that we found it hard to believe. And then we had mothers coming to us also that said, well, this is what's going on in my life. Who do I talk to? And we end up mentoring, I would say, mentoring them and so forth. So poverty didn't start off as Power of a Dream. It was just basically sisters helping sisters because we just wanted to be there for them. And then, so we started, and then just meeting occasionally, And then after that, I was at an Akron Symphony Chorus rehearsal. I was being nosy, and I was listening to what this lady was saying about a young lady that had to go to jail because she had killed her husband. And I kept, the name sounded familiar, and I kept listening, and they said there was a fundraiser for them that weekend, and I listened, and I took it upon myself to go. I did know some of the family. And so we started trying to help them with the fundraising. But meanwhile, I needed to talk to the young lady because I knew nothing about domestic violence. At least I didn't know that I did. And so I went to the jail. I got permission, collaborated with another group, and they let me come in. And she wouldn't look at me in the face because I need to know her story. And finally, after finally she started looking at me, because she felt so guilty and so much of ashamed. When she had 3 children, a 3-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 10-year-old. So, I think, when your whole life goes down like that, you just feel so bad, and it wasn't even on purpose. So I mentored with her from from March of 2008 to September of 2008 until they decided to take her, sentence her, and which made a big impact. I realized, though, at that time, here is one young lady. She had so many dreams and so many things going, and she wasn't able to pursue them, and because she didn't know the law or what was going on with domestic violence. She didn't know her rights. She didn't know that because this other person put fear in her, because that's the main thing, is fear and domestic violence. It trapped her. And so she kept on with so many things. But when she decided that I would like to have a divorce, that's when things went bad. And so it was something that wasn't on purpose. But from that point on, I decided to look into things. And I had done all these things as far as mentoring and supporting, and we decided, let's go and travel this area and see what we can do. And so we ended up taking on certain situations and being advocates for the courts sometimes. And everything led from one thing to another. David Seiko, he was a senior probation officer for the Domestic Violence Court at that time. He's on our board now. He stayed with us 16 years. And so we have little by little been doing these things. And it was a combination, ended up being a combination about self-awareness and also about domestic violence. So that's what we started. That's how it started. So,
yeah, I mean, that's incredible, because at the time you didn't necessarily know here was where I want to get to. You were here, I want to learn more, and take an initiative to actually do it. It's one thing, as we know, to talk about it and, oh, I'm going to go do this or I'm going to do that, and but to actually do it, that's huge. And
it is.
so with all the different programs, you set goals, even if they're just subconsciously, you might not be writing them out and say, here's exactly what I want to do. But in your mind, you know, like, okay, if this situation comes up, or if I have an opportunity to help in whatever way that is,
right.
That clicked in your mind when that option came available.
Yes.
And I think that's big, because that doesn't happen every day.
No, it does not.
And some of us, and speaking from experience, I'm impatient. I want things to happen every day,
exactly.
and to have this opportunity and that opportunity. But to realize that that's not the case, it takes a lot of patience. And
yes, it does.
And I bet you had to have a lot of patience as you're listening to the stories and the recollections of being a listener. Many people think of leaders of organizations as predominantly just being the face and the voice of the organization, but it takes a lot of listening to find out, okay, what do people need, or I had these 3 conversations, so maybe this is a trend. Maybe let's look at trying to do that. Where did your listening ear come from? Was that just natural for you as you're going through education?
I come from a controlled life, I guess I wanted to say, where you didn't speak unless you were asked to speak.
Okay.
I was raised in a Catholic school and all my life, and my mother was very strict. And so you speak when you're told to speak, a lot of control environment. But when you do that, you have to remember too that you're listening to so many things around you. You can absorb a whole lot of things just by sitting there and listening. And then you also, in my case, I was able to have the word empathy grow. Because I didn't have a background like most people would. And I needed to be fair. I cannot judge. Who am I to judge you? I could be in the same shoes you are today, but we all have choices.
Yes.
So so I had to be really careful about my listening skills, and I did, and also I did take classes in communication, of course, too. So I was able to be really careful about my listening skills, and in how I observe people and so forth. So I think that's where my listening skills came in, from a strict environment and my education. Okay.
and so we maybe transition from that listening to being the face of an organization, the name that's associated when people hear Power of a Dream, Sisters Helping Sisters, that they think of Brenda. Did that come natural? Public speaking, talking here today, in part 1 or part 2.
No, and I'm really surprised at myself, actually, because I was always quiet. I didn't speak. I was the quiet, shy girl, and I had to really, this is a growth spurt for me, from the beginning to the very till now. Even me speaking with you now, I didn't plan on doing that.
Yeah.
I have no intentions of speaking. I was going to have somebody else speak for me as time was growing. Power of a Dream, I thought about it. I knew what my intentions were, but I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can understand that. You have your one fixed mind, and then as time goes, something else triggers something else. I didn't realize that, but other people need to know about that. And so basically, I'm not going to say I'm a public speaker, but I like to speak on what I believe. Because there's sometimes people don't get that opportunity.
That's right.
And and I've just been blessed to have the platform where I can do that and express how I truly feel about situations. I don't want to lie about it. I want to tell the truth about it.
And that's a big difference. And I've noticed with myself of different public speaking and having the show that it's a little bit easier talking about things when you're passionate and it's what you believe in.
Right, right.
As opposed to just sharing about a topic that may have an interest, may not.
Right.
I'm just doing this just because. And I think that's important for listeners and viewers that you'll be able to be a better listener, a better speaker for those things that you're passionate about and that you like. So we would encourage people to look and try to find. I'm saying they have to do soul searching,
right,
but do some type of.
Yes, they do.
To be able to find that, because as we know, we spend a lot of time with our work family, and we want to make sure that it's the right work family, or as well as it can be, and that our job isn't a job, that it's something that we believe in, that we're tied in that emotional side of things, as opposed to just a paycheck. That it's a paycheck is good, but we want to have something that we like and we want to do. Because if we're doing something strictly for the money or other ulterior motives, that can be difficult, and we could find ourselves in situations where it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting paid incredible money, but I don't like what I'm doing. I don't believe in the organization.
That makes a big difference, because it doesn't matter about the pay. And working for a nonprofit, as you know, it's not about the pay, but it's about your love and your desire and the passion that you have for that. And I just have to go back just a little bit.
Please.
You were speaking about public speaking and and how you get from one point to the other, and so I believe in September the Historical Society, Summit County Historical Society, had the Woman of the Year award. So I did receive that.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
And then I did not realize what I was thinking. I would sit there, get my little award, and go and sit back down.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
So I had to speak. And I had to speak. I received the award for my for Power of a Dream and for Gospel Meets Symphony. So I ended up having to speak about both of those organizations, but I spoke about both of those because I had a passion for both of those.
Yeah.
When you have a passion for those, you can speak about those. And so you're sitting there, standing up there with a room of 400 people, and you're like, oh my goodness. And for the first time, I actually saw my coworkers all came to support me too. So they have never seen me in that light, and they had never seen me. They don't know a whole lot about Power of a Dream, because I try to keep those two organizations separate, because two separate desires. So it was very interesting to speak my passion and truly so that they could understand what I'm really about. And it's not about, so I am the face that you see when you walk in the symphony office. I am the one that can help you. I'm the one that's been there I'm the senior member, of course, but also I have other desires and things and that I have passions for. I haven't stopped dreaming, and I never will stop dreaming. So those are the things that I thought was very interesting for me. And from that, I ended up having another speaking engagement Oops. So I ended up having another speaking engagement coming up in April. So I never thought I'd be speaking.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that sometimes it takes you to a place where you just never knew you could be.
Yeah, and for you to get up and speak in front of 400 people, kind of off the cuff, with maybe not having prepared.
Well, I did a little bit preparing for that one.
Okay.
But, you know, every Saturday I speak in front of 200 people.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, for Gospel Symphony, I do the announcements. I coordinate the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I have to be, it's prepared me for the future.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm a little bit okay coming up. I don't have, sometimes I used to have a little bit like, oh my gosh, you know, make sure you look good, make sure your hair's, all these other kind of things. But like I've always said, I'm just Brenda.
That's right.
So,
ourselves.
yes, and that's how I always look at things. And I take people, I never take people for granted, because we all have, somewhere inside you have a desire and a gift, and so maybe I can help you out. Never know, which I have done.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is all incredible to learn more about. We're going to be closing out this episode, part 1, and we'll be coming back with part 2, getting more into Power of a Dream.
Okay.
As far as meetings and how people can learn more about that and the different events and all those types of things, and then how people can learn more and potentially volunteer or reach out. We all could use a little bit of help from time to time, even though it might seem like, wow, they're doing great with that. They don't need to be.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, please, like, no, look at this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Brenda, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you, our listeners, our viewers, for tuning in to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Come back next week. We'll have part 2 of our conversation with Brenda Justice with the Akron Symphony Orchestra and the Power of a Dream Sisters Helping Sisters Ministry. We'll be learning much more about that in our part 2. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Make our organization and our TV show and podcast one of the top ones. We have a lot of people that tune in, and we are grateful for that. And share that with friends and family. Who knows? My goal is to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond, which is a humongous goal, and I'm going to need a lot of help. So if you can help, and it doesn't cost anything to hit that like button, subscribe, share, or comment. So until next time, I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, and please be a voice for you or somebody in need.